Okay, so part B of this lesson, we're just looking at expressions with multiple variables. We have two problems here that we're going to take a look at. We're not expanding anything, we're just going to go ahead and look at the rule that we were using in part A of this lesson. So looking at problem 1, we have x cubed times y to the 5th over x to the 4th times y to the 3rd. Again, the first part of our rule is to move anything out of the denominator into the numerator. So we're going to do that real quick. Now, when we do this, I want you to get in the habit of putting the similar variables next to each other. So see how I put the x to the negative 4th next to x cubed. I didn't put it at the end of this. That just gets too confusing. So from here, we're going to use our multiplying rule on this to simplify. So we have x to 3 minus 4 times y to the 5 minus 3. Simplify, we get x to the negative 1 times y to the squared. Again, we don't like a final expression of or with a negative exponent, so we're going to go ahead and change this to a positive exponent. And how do we do that? We it's technically over a 1 right now, right? All of this is over 1. So I'm going to move that into the denominator, changing the sign of the exponent to a positive. So this becomes y squared. The y squared stays where it is, or x to the 1st. So our final simplified expression is y squared over x. Remember that no written exponent is an exponent of 1. Now, hopefully that makes sense. We're going to look at problem 2. First thing I want you to notice is we have numbers as our bases in this one, as well as variables. So usually we do move everything from the denominator to the numerator when dividing, but that's only with exponential expressions of the same base. So pay attention closely here. I'm going to leave this as it is with my numbers. So 3 squared is in the numerator, 2 to the 4th is in the denominator. But moving things from the denominator to the numerator, I am going to do that with this term and that term only. So I'm going to keep my x to the 5th and multiply my x to the negative 6th. Right, I moved it to the top so it became a negative, but since these are not the same base and they are just numbers, we're just going to calculate those and simplify them later if we can, but I'm not going to bring what's in the denominator to the numerator just because you're not going to need to. So let's simplify the numbers real quick. We have 3 squared, so 9, x to the 5th times x to the negative 6th, and 2 to the 4th gives us 16. So now that we have our numbers simplified, let's go ahead and use our multiplying rule with our exponents to simplify. So we have 9 times x to the 5th minus 6 over 16. This becomes 9 x to the negative 1 over 16. Again, we don't like negative exponents, so let's change that. So it becomes 9 over 16x as our final simplified expression. Notice how 9 and 16 can't be simplified any further. So that's why we went ahead and left the 2 to the 4th, which became 16, we left that in the denominator.